Looks absolutely matter, and how you package yourself actually has a big influence on how you are treated. We cannot come and sugarcoat this and pretend otherwise. It's so important in becoming that girl that you know how to elevate your style, and this is something that we're going to talk about today. Do not be a woman who says, I can look any way I want to, and do not be a woman who takes comfort in actually putting the bare minimum effort into her style and how she presents herself. Packaging is important, will always remain important. I always think God is fully adorned, so on this earth, as a representation of Him, I'm going to always make sure that I am well put together. I also think your style and your packaging makes your life easier. If you disagree with this, then you are setting yourself up to have a very difficult time in life, whether that be in the airport queue, whether that be in the office, whether that be in a business deal, whether that be in everyday interactions. And I always go down to the fact, even in a time of absolute despair, Esther puts on her royal robes. You must ensure that you know how to style yourself. I'm going to share some tips, but going to be very practical on how you can immediately elevate your style, how you can immediately start to become that girl. One of the things I do want to say though, every single day I get dressed, whether I'm staying at home or I'm going out, I always have at the back of my mind, I will apply pressure today. I will apply pressure. Becoming that girl, putting your foot on the neck of your enemies, apply pressure every single day. So do you feel at any point to add in the comments style tips that you absolutely swear by and that you know that work and that are practical so the girlies can implement them? Okay, before we get into the style tips, I think it's so important for every woman to sort out her wardrobe. In your wardrobe, there are certain things that have no business being in there. Any clothes that do not fit you. If you have not lost the weight over the last year, get rid of them. Get rid of the clothes that do not fit you. Whether ill-fitting and they do not fit, get rid of them. And you're getting rid of them if your tailor cannot alter them so that they fit properly. Proper fitting clothes is the beginning of style. Get rid of any clothes also that are stained, that have holes in, that are just faded and not in good condition. You have no business wearing clothes that are stained if you are actually part of royalty. Absolutely none whatsoever. So that's the starting point. Number 2, this is, by the way, becoming you takes time. This is going to take time. You need to divide your wardrobe into 3 parts. You don't have time to be on TikTok. You don't have time to be on Instagram. You have time to, after this, go and divide your wardrobe into 3 parts. Number 1, you need dresses. And number 2, you need tops. And number 3, you need bottoms. I divide my wardrobe into 3 parts because there are 3 distinct elements. The dresses are items that I can simply just put on, whether that be everyday dresses to quickly go and grab some lunch, go to a brunch, go to the theatre, go to the opera, go to a dinner. I have got dresses that I know once I put that dress on, the outfit is nearly complete once I accessorize it. This is very different to your tops and bottoms. You must have your tops and bottoms separate to your dresses. And then I am type A. I would divide your dresses into colour blocks. So you start from your whites and go all the way to your blacks. So you block them into colours, whites, blues, yellows, browns, etc. And then when you look in your wardrobe, you will see all your dresses and in the various colours that you currently have. The same applies to your tops and bottoms. It's so important to evaluate your current wardrobe as it is. You cannot elevate your style if you don't know what you have. I would also recommend that you actually try on each individual piece. You try on the pieces and you are critical with yourself and you're honest with yourself. Is this a keep or is it a go? If there is any hesitation, darling, send it to charity. Send that item to charity. If you're hesitating about whether it's doing anything for you, it needs to go into charity. So Now that you should have a basic understanding of where you stand with your wardrobe, and by the way, this clear out should be pleasurable. Go grab some wine for the girlies that drink. I'm a non-alcoholic beverage drinker, so go grab that. Go grab some music. Have a vibe with yourself. Becoming you is never a chore. Now, these are the tips. You need to pick 3 words that describe your style. You are not here to be fashionable. Fashionable isn't actually doing anything for most women's wardrobe. Pick 3 distinct words that embody the woman that you are. And those words are going to determine moving forward the type of clothes that you buy. I'm actually going to share my 3 words. I'm not going to gatekeep them. My 3 words are sophisticated, classic, and sexy. Because in my world, I really do like to ensure that I give a very sophisticated and elegant, classic vibe. I have pieces that I've bought 5 years ago. That's why classic is important for me. I like a timeless wardrobe. I also use the word sexy because on this earth, I do put pressure on the necks. Pressure on the necks. And I know we can't see me, but every time I step out the house, there is always someone that says, wow, where's that dress from? Where's that outfit from? I love that look. Sexy because I do not believe the religious spirits want some of you to look like nuns. They want you to look like nuns. There's a fine line between being modest and looking like you are about to join the nunnery. A very fine line. And for me, I keep the word sexy in there because pressure on the necks. So choose your 3 words, and that is going to be your embodiment of what clothes you pick. Another style tip is Google reverse image is going to be your friend when you buy items. Every time I want to buy something, I always reverse image search that item, primarily to see, is it on sale somewhere? Can I get it cheaper? Fundamentally, I also only buy clothes in twice a year in bulk. So this is usually around April and autumn, so around September, October time. The reason for that is I actually don't like to buy full price items. I like my money in my bank account. For me, spending money on clothes all the time doesn't make sense. I prefer assets in my name, but I do love to look good. So Google reverse image will ensure that you are buying the item at the best cost price for you. My biggest style tip has to be, darlings, you need to start completing the outfits. This is what most women do. You buy a dress and the dress is, let's say, brown or red. Then next week or in a couple of weeks' time, you go and buy a skirt and the skirt is blue. You don't have shoes and accessories to complete the red dress. And then you've now got a blue skirt. Then the week after, you go and buy a yellow top. This is the exact reason why your wardrobe is disorganized and you don't look well put together. I operate a principle of complete outfits only. What that means is if I recently bought a brown waistcoat, and I did not pick that waistcoat up until I knew that I had relevant bottoms to go with that waistcoat. And I already knew I had a bag to go with it. And I already knew the pair of sandals that was going to go with the outfit. So I knew that outfit was going to be complete. I do not buy incomplete outfits. And I also don't just buy new things if I know it's going to be difficult for me to complete an outfit. Like in my wardrobe right now, I'm not going to go and buy a yellow top. Do you know why? Because it's going to mean that I'm going to need to buy a pair of bottoms to go with that. I wouldn't want a pair of necessarily black. I'm also going to need to buy a pair of shoes and potentially a bag that goes with that outfit. So I'm really far from completing that outfit. I would rather buy I have got a really nice sheer brown top. I would rather buy a slip skirt, and I already know I've got shoes and a handbag that can go with that look. The reason many women do not have elevated looks and are constantly buying items is because they don't operate the role of complete outfits only. So every time you buy a piece, I want you to think, is this completing an outfit that I already have? And what accessories and shoes do I need to complete the outfit? It will stop your look from being disjointed. Another tip that I can also give in order to make sure that you are not falling down the trap of consumerism, every time I buy a piece, I always try to make sure I can get 3 outfits out of that. 3 different ways that I can wear that piece, even if it's a dress. So a dress, I might swap the bag. Can I wear it with a more casual bag? Can I dress it up with an evening bag? Do I change the heels and wear like from my Renee's to a pair of like Aquazzura sandals? Or do I pair it with one of my favourite sandals is also a Shein pair of sandals. Like, how do I turn this look into 3 outfits? How do I turn this purchase into 3 outfits? I promise this will save your pockets. Now, this is going to be an unpopular tip, but block colours only. Try as best as you can to stick to block colours. Most women, you're trying to mix up the patterns and the fabrics and everything else, and you just get a disjointed look. You just get a look that isn't well put together. This will actually hinder your ability to get the look all the way and for you to have an elevated style. The moment I implemented the principle of block colours only, it literally catapulted my style and my presence and my packaging into another level. Like I say, and I'm not saying this to sound big-headed, I do always get complimented when I step outside. There's always someone saying, where did you get that from? Oh my gosh, you look so gorgeous, etc. And that's because of the intentionality. Now, let's talk about shoes. Shoes will kill your outfits. Darlings, you need to get the shoe game all the way together. I might even just do a fun short clip on shoes. One of the biggest things that changed my outfits is realizing do not wear shoes that cut off your ankles. I avoid shoes with straps. Yes, I've said it out loud. Most women need to actually avoid shoes with straps. And if they do have straps, it needs to be skinny. I also recommend when it comes to shoes, avoid granny heels. Clunky block heels are ugly. I've said it. I have said it. I firmly believe in wearing thin heels, and thin heels can also be at a medium height. So it doesn't have to be stilettos. Absolutely not. I do not run errands in stilettos. That is ludicrous. No. But I do have heels where I can go to lunch and also just wear a mini pair of heels. Like I said, my Shein or my Aquazzura heels are middies, and they just instantly elevate the look. They are mules, so I just slide my feet in. They don't cut off at the ankle, because when you cut off at the ankle, you're killing the look. It's not doing what it needs to do. So shoes do matter, and be very, very critical. Avoid those clunky block heels. Also, really take care. In the beginning, look, I have been there. The black shoes are key. You need some black heels. Black heels. But then over time, slowly but surely, every April, if you want to implement my April and August rules, you start to actually improve your shoe game and buy shoes that can elevate different fabrics, different looks, different colours. I will also say another style tip is details matter. Most women don't have elevated looks because they're not looking at the minor details. Here are details that I look at in buying an outfit. Does it have any lace detail? Like, if you want to give off the vibe of sophisticated, feminine, soft, look for things like lace details. Look at the buttons. The buttons are a big giveaway to the outfit is cheap. And by the way, there is nothing wrong with buying clothes according to your budget. But what I would recommend, if you are buying clothes from a more lower end store, a couple of things to elevate that. You better make best friends with your tailor. You also need to make friends with a good haberdashery. Be comfortable, and this is why becoming you is going to take time and is the most important project. You are the hobby. This is your hobby. Go to the haberdasheries, go and buy buttons, change some of the buttons and some of your clothes, and it will elevate the look. I can't sew for the life of me. I will take everything to the tailor, like everything. Everything that needs to be taken in, hemmed up, I'm taking it to the tailor, just so the look can be elevated. So if you're buying lower end clothes, do look to see whether or not you can spend just an additional bit of money on elevating basics like the buttons, etc. Also, think about the texture and fabric, linen, silk, lace. Also, minor details like, is it slightly off the shoulder? Is there a bit of back? I do like a little bit of back. I do like a little bit of collarbone. I do like those details because it is important. Another thing is how the dress or the outfit sits on your body. My rule of thumb is I do not like it tight. I like it skimming. It needs to skim over the body rather than be tight to the body. And this is regardless of how skinny you are. Because sometimes I think we, the skinny girls, we think, oh my gosh, it can be tight. No. It needs to skim over the body. That is my number one style tip. Skimming over the body just gives a different level. You are not trying to package yourself like sausage meat. No, that's not the vibe and the look you're trying to go for. So these are my style tips. Definitely in the comments, share tips that you actually utilize to ensure that you have an elevated look, because style is important, packages are important, and your presentation is really key. I do want to lastly end and say my mother always said to me, never ever show up anywhere like you've come to clean the kitchen. Come like you've come to actually have dinner at the table and not like you've come to clean the kitchen.